G'day mates, welcome to Steve Strings. You may be wondering why I started my video with G'day mates rather than hi guys, and that's because today I'm sharing with you a cigar box ukulele build that is bound for Australia. Here it is. It's an Oliva box, tenor scale, cigar box ukulele. Let's go ahead and give you a rundown on it. What I have here is some gold tuners with some brown pegs. I have some mahogany wings on the headstock here. You may also note that I have a volute. I carved a volute into the neck, and the reason I did that was because one is I've never done that before and I wanted to try carving a volute. And the other thing is it makes it thicker, the neck thicker right where the headstock meets the neck. With an ukulele, it may be a moot point because there's not that much tension, but I wanted to give that a try. The fretboard here is made of a nice striped pine, and I have a heel that matches that. You can see I decoupaged the Australian flag on the bottom of the box, and the neck is radiata pine, which is native to Central California, like Monterey area, but is also widely farmed in both Australia and New Zealand, and this particular radiata pine came from New Zealand. You may wonder, why am I using pine on a neck? I actually looked into this, and radiata pine actually is harder, although it's a softwood, it's harder than poplar, which is typically considered a hardwood. So I gave that a try for this one here. I have an oak string spacer here, and a 0 fret rather than have a nut. So I have a jumbo fret for the 0 fret, and then I have silver nickel medium frets for the regular frets. I have these gold strap buttons on the heel and also on the tailpiece. This build is a through body design. So basically this heel part goes all the way through the body. I have these collars for rivets that serve as sort of protectors to keep the strings from cutting into the wood. And on the back side, I have these little beads, little silver beads that I picked up at the craft store just to make sure that the strings don't pull through. You may have noted here that the bridge is a floating bridge and saddle. In this case, it is a bridge and saddle that's made for a banjo ukulele or 4-string banjo. So you can see I have 2 sound holes here. One is just a typical sound hole, but my second sound hole, as you can see here, is carved into the shape of Australia, since this is bound for Australia. Let's see, the other feature I didn't mention here is that I have a string guide here. It's just 2 eye screws with a nail that's been cut down and smooth to kind of keep those strings down at the right break angle coming off of the string guide. I don't have any position markers here on the face of the neck, but I do have position markers at 3, 5, 7, 10, and 12 on the player's side. So the strings I have on this are Aquila reds, but you may note that this A string isn't red, and that's because I was bringing this to pitch this morning, and as it was sitting there, the A string popped. And I should say that Aquila reds are kind of known for breaking, and I was half afraid it would, and it did. So this A string is actually a piece of fishing line. I think it's like a 50-pound test or something like that, but it's brought to pitch and sounding pretty good actually. I should also mention a couple other features about this. When I was looking for a box for this particular build, it's going to be a gift for a colleague of mine who's sending it down to a relative down in Australia. So I wanted to make sure I had a nice looking box and a nice looking ukulele when I was done. And this particular box, although it's a thin box, kind of like a thin line ukulele, you can see that it is sort of an angled edge going all the way around this box, which is really nice because it's very, very comfortable. I don't have any sharp edges cutting into my arm. And so I have that feature carried over here at the headstock. I'll turn it this way. You can see that I have these angles on the headstock to kind of complement the angles on the body of the build. Now, as I was bringing this to tune, right now it's GCEA, but you may have seen some other videos of mine where I have tried some GCA tuned baritone ukuleles, but dropped the pitch down a couple of steps to EA, D flat, G flat. And I was trying that on this one on the way up to GCA, and I think that at maybe probably 2 steps lower, I think this thing is actually a little louder and projects a little more than here at the GCA tuning. That said, it actually projects pretty well. I mean, for a cigar box, you know, just kind of cross your fingers and hope you get some decent sound of it acoustically. Now, on this one here, it looks like I've got a pretty good sound, so I'm pretty happy with it right now. So let me go ahead and play this a little bit so you can get a sense of what this sounds like. Again, this is GCA. And it doesn't have a lot of sustain, but considering it's a cigar box, which is basically laminate, it's not too bad. So let me go ahead and just do a little bit of finger picking here so you get a sense of what it sounds like finger picked. And I should note also that the intro and outro for this video will be this instrument finger pick, so you get a sense of that as well. I'll do a little chord progression here, strumming. I apologize for my playing. As you can see, I'm still a novice ukulele player and trying to work it out. But overall, I think this turned out pretty well. I'm hoping that the owner down in Australia enjoys this. I'm hoping that you liked it. If you like this, please give a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of these kinds of videos, of builds or unboxings or reviews, please subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.